Hi everyone, welcome again with Mr. Zahir Isawi for AP Pre-Calculus subject. Now today we're going to talk about binomial theorem and the equivalent representation. Now first of all, you have to know that we have two forms in order of writing all the functions that we deal with them, right? Like what? Like the polynomial functions and rational functions. Now in order to write the rational functions, we have the factored form, which means that you need to factorize the numerator as well as factorize that denominator. And we have something we call it the general form, where the general form, you can write it after doing the simplification for the numerator alone and the denominator alone. I mean, after expanding the brackets or the parentheses that you have them. As well as we have the same thing for the polynomial function. Here, that what do we call it in the factored form, and this is what do we call it in the standard form. And noticing that in the standard form, we're writing the function from the highest power into the lowest power, and we're done from or with the constant number. Now, before starting our lesson today, we are going to revise last thing that we talked before. I mean, by the way, we're just focusing on that because it is something so important. So, we have this function. In example number 1, we have 2x cubed minus 16x squared plus 32x. And we need to find the degree, where the degree is the what? Is the highest power in the function, which is the 3 right here. And don't forget that we talk something we call it leading coefficient, where the leading coefficient is the number behind that variable, which is 2, but it's not required right here. Now, the second one, find the end behavior. In order to find the end behavior, you need to find the limits as x approaching infinity and the limit as x approaching negative infinity. Okay? Now we say to find the limit or the infinity limits, you need to take only the highest power here. So you have to take for 2x cubed, for 2x cubed. Now, as we learned together before, infinity cube is infinity multiplied by 2. That gives you what? Infinity. While negative infinity cube, this is negative infinity. Why? Because we have an odd power. And odd power, it makes the negative live. Okay, so it's negative infinity here, the answer of the end behavior. Now, in C, we need to find out the y-intercept. We said in order to find out the y-intercept, you need to make x equals 0, okay? Y-intercept means x equals 0, x-intercept means y equals 0. Now, just try to replace x with what? With 0. 2, 0 cubed, minus 16, 0 squared, plus 32 times 0, that gives you 0 at the end, all right? So when x equals to 0, what is the value of y? It is 0 also. So the y-intercept is at x equals 0. Okay? Again, sorry, it is at y equals to 0 because we're talking about y-intercept. The value of y is equals to 0. But again, to find the y-intercept, just put what? Put x equals 0 in our function. So it is 2 times 0 cubed minus 16 times 0 squared plus 32 times 0, which means the answer is 0, where y is equals to 0. Because we're talking about what? Y-intercepts. Now, in the third question, or in the fourth one, I mean D, find the zeros of the function. Where we talked before that the zeros are the same as the x-intercept. And we can use different words for the zeros, which is what? Which is the roots. So the roots of the function, x-intercept or zeros, they both have the same method of solution. So find the zeros, that means make y equals 0, where y is the same as f of x in this relation. So I will say 0 equal 2x cubed minus 16x squared plus 32. Now, in order to solve this question, you need to factorize this formula. Now, to factorize this formula, this is 32x. To factorize this formula, you can take 2x is common